Mr. Transformers 96 here with another video. I'm going to be talking about a newly shown Hot Toys figure. This time it is the Iron Man 1 Tony Stark Mech Test reissue. So obviously Hot Toys showed a bunch of new figures the night before last, and they put them all up on pre-order yesterday. So I unfortunately wasn't able to talk about them right when they were first shown, but I definitely want to go over them now. And in the one I'm doing here, I'm going to be talking about Tony Stark. So this is the one that I'm, one of the most interesting ones to me. I've always wanted the original version. This is, a figure that has been previously kind of released. They're just doing a reissue, and they've updated some pieces. But this is a figure that, came out a long time ago and shot up in price. And when I mean shot up, it really shot up, like almost to a grand's worth at some points. Like, this thing became incredibly popular. And I've always wanted it, but, even by the time that I even heard about it, that I started collecting Hot Toys, it had really gone up. So I never purchased it myself. But I always thought to myself, and I actually saw it on eBay like a week or two ago, and I really was just like, why are they reissuing Whiplash? Like, this is the one that they should reissue. So it's funny to see that they did it just so shortly after I had that thought. But I've always really been interested in it, so now to have a chance to be able to get it is quite cool. I'm not a huge fan just in general of Hot Toys reissuing figures. It's a slight update, but it's mainly a reissue, I believe. I believe that the most of the clothing and armor is the same design. It might be newly painted. The head sculpt I actually thought was reissued, but when I took a look at the two of them together, it does look like it is a new sculpt, or at the bare minimum, it's new hair. The face sculpt itself, I believe, is new. It's a little hard to tell, though, to be honest. But overall, the figure, I think, looks quite good. The overall design is pretty basic when it comes to his clothing. It's pretty standard clothing, relatively baggy. Doesn't have to be too form-fitting, and there's no design on it whatsoever. So nothing too special there. But where the kind of special pieces come in is this. It's the armor attachments. It's kind of like a breakdown, almost the skeleton of one of his Iron Man armors, which I think is quite cool. And I think that the arms look pretty good. There's a lot of cool detail in it. It's the legs that I think look really nice. I think there's a lot of detail in those legs, more so than the arms, and they just look cool. And they have some nice light up effects in the leg pieces, which I think is quite neat. And then the face sculpt's in my opinion. Like, it's not great. I don't feel like it's a fantastic Tony Stark head sculpt, and Hot Toys has done so many, and I've seen so many really good ones, that it's a little disappointing that this one is a little even though it's like their most modern face sculpt, basically. The only thing I can think of as to why it's not that great is if they are reissuing the face, but giving a new hair sculpt to be more accurate, because the hair is 100% different than the original. The face, it looks a little better, but it doesn't look a ton better, so that's why I think that it almost could just be newly painted. So I'm a little disappointed when it comes to the face. There's certain angles like this I think is probably the best angle. The last picture we just saw, the one previous to that where he was looking to the right, that I think is the worst angle. I think it just really doesn't look good. There's the lights in the boots. I think that looks really nice, to be honest. I think that the light kind of being able to hit on some of the texture and detail in that armor really helps bring out the detail, which is cool. The deluxe version comes with a dummy, which is very cool. It's the same dummy. I believe the original one came with the dummy. It's the same one, if I'm not mistaken. So just to go over some of the details as far as what he comes with. So if you buy the deluxe, you get that dummy. The dummy is different than the one that came with the workshop version of Tony Stark. That dummy is on wheels. This one is not. This is a stationary piece. And he comes with a little fire extinguisher, which I think is kind of nice. And then he comes with 4 hands, 2 relaxed palms and 2 palms that are open to kind of have him like kind of flight palms, basically. And then he comes with a base that has a flight pole and a backdrop. So accessory wise, it's extremely limited, because if you get the bare minimum Tony Stark, you get the one that doesn't have the deluxe dummy piece and it doesn't have the exclusive pieces with it, all you're getting are 2 sets of hands and then the base with backdrop. Like, that's it. So this thing's bare minimum, unfortunately. Now, if you get the deluxe version, you get, dummy, which is a nice extra piece. And then if you get the exclusive version, you get the proof that Tony Stark has a heart, framed arc reactor that Pepper gives him. That is a reissued accessory. It came, I don't know if it came with the original Tony Stark. I don't think it did, but it absolutely came as the exclusive piece for the Iron Man Mark III, the diecast one, which is a figure that I've had. I did end up selling it, but I had it, so I have that. I've had that exclusive accessory before, and it's really nice. I like it. The one thing that it doesn't have that I wish it did have was the, oh no, I was going to say like a plaque, but no, that's right. The writing is around the arc reactor itself. One thing that's cool about it is that you can remove the actual glass from it, so the glass can just pop right off. And then it also does have a little light in it. So that's a cool accessory. I remember being a little disappointed when I sold my figure that I had to get rid of that accessory because I liked it, and I kept it on his workbench because I have the Tony Stark, the workstation one. So I always like that accessory, so I'll be happy to get that one again if I do get this. And then the other accessory that he has is the Mark II face armor plate with all of his kind of notations on it. It's the one that he was kind of messing with when he sees that there's that gala going on that he decides to crash, and he kind of like looks through the armor for that, and we get a POV of his view through the little eye holes. So I really like that accessory. I think that's a cool one. So overall, this set has gone on pre-order. We have some details for it. So the standard version, the non-dummy version, but still with the exclusive pieces if you get it through Sideshow, is $280, which is a little pricey, to be honest, especially since I can't tell if it's a new face sculpt because it's just not that good. And the figure himself is bare bones basic. There's great detailing when it comes to those armor pieces on the leg, but other than that, it's a very minimal figure. It's your standard body, it's some very minimal design clothing, and then it's the armor pieces on top, and there's just 4 small pieces of armor. There's not a ton going on costume wise, not particularly complex. And then the accessory wise, doesn't come with a ton of accessories. The cardboard backdrop is a nice big one, but it's pretty cheap material, obviously. So overall, I think the $280 is a bit expensive, to be honest. I think that this should be more in the $260, maybe even $250 range, to be quite honest. Now the deluxe version, which no, it's not down here. The deluxe version is $305, so it's $25 more, and you get dummy. It's hard, because I am really considering getting this, and as far as which one I'd get, the standard or the deluxe, I think that I don't need the deluxe. I don't need that dummy. I have a dummy already, and he comes with a video camera, so I can still have the same type of scene going on where he's recording him doing it, because in the scene there is those 2 dummies. One's recording and one's a fire extinguisher. So I have the one anyway, which would totally suffice, but since it's only $25 more for that extra dummy, it is probably worth it. So I think that I will get the deluxe one if I do purchase this. Now, but again, so even though the jump between standard and deluxe is reasonable, I think $25 is a pretty reasonable jump. It just, the standard price I think is a little too high to begin with. So I definitely would have liked to see this $280 price more if you got dummy. I think that would be a good deluxe price. But yeah, there you go. That's my thoughts on this new kind of reissued Iron Man figure. A figure that I've always wanted. Is it unnecessary? Yeah, it's unnecessary. I've got several Iron Man figures, and I even have a Tony Stark figure. I've got the workbench one, which is a great figure. So is this needed? No. Do I want it? Yes, and I've kind of always wanted it. So I'm gonna seriously consider it. I have plenty of time to think of it, of course, though, because unfortunately this thing doesn't come out until between January and March of 2022. So almost 2 years away. It's a year and a half away, which is a lot. I really wish they could get these release dates down so that it's just a year away for figures, and that's what it used to be. But they've slowly crept it up, and now we're at a point where it's a year and a half to 2 years before we get figures. So I really wish Hot Toys would get some of their stuff together and get figures out a lot quicker than they are now. But anyway, that's my thoughts on this new Tony Stark Mech Tech kind of reissue version. Let me know what you guys think of it, and I'll have more videos about the other Hot Toys figures shown. And thanks so much for watching.